Hi guys, it's Abby. I'm so glad that I can do this for you guys, even though it's been a while since I've seen you. I miss you all a lot. So Kevin reached out to me and asked me if I could possibly talk to you all a little bit about what it's like been for me amidst this, Corona craziness, and living out my faith and how, my faith has been affected. In general, I think the word that can be used best to describe this whole situation is chaotic. My entire routine, my entire life has been uprooted, and it is just chaos, absolute chaos. In general, I think that's kind of the common thread amongst all of us. Our routine of going to Mass on Sundays, our routine of going to confession, our routine of receiving the Eucharist has been taken away from us, and that is so hard. And I think for Catholics right now, it's easy to become discouraged because there's really no nearing of the end. We don't know when this is going to end. I mean, Easter's in a couple of days, and I think it's safe to say that this is probably a Lent none of us are ever going to forget. 2 weeks ago, I was watching Father Mike Schmidt's homily on, is it the 5th Sunday of Lent? I was keeping Holy the Sabbath virtually. And he was talking about part of this movie called It's a Wonderful Life, where basically there's these angels in heaven and they're talking about this one guy, George Bailey, and how he's in a lot of trouble and he needs help. Now, he wasn't in trouble because he was sick. He wasn't dying. It wasn't like that. What they said was he's becoming discouraged. And this struck Father Mike and myself really, really intensely because the idea, especially right now, amidst a global pandemic, the idea of becoming discouraged isn't something that I've been worrying about. I've been worrying about getting sick. I've been worried about, my family and everybody staying healthy. So when he went in and started kind of dissecting the word discouraged, it started settling and I became, more aware, and I started to understand what he was talking about and why he was so, or why these angels were so concerned about this man becoming discouraged. So he goes in and dissects the word courage, which comes from the Latin root cor, which means heart. So to become discouraged literally meant that he was losing heart. That's like a pretty big deal, because when you become discouraged, it's kind of like you're saying, you know what, I think I'm done. Like I can't do this. I am not just giving up on this situation, but I'm giving up on the idea that God is going to be able to help me through this. In January, I went on a mission trip and I was asked to give a talk, and it just so happened to literally be about the heart. So, I was like, okay, light bulb, it's all coming full circle. This is why it impacted me so much, because I've been studying the heart. I've been talking about the heart. I've been preaching about the importance of having your heart filled with God and going out into, the world and serving God's people. And now 3 months later, I'm in my parents' room, my little sister recording me, I'm doing this for you, amidst a global pandemic, and I have no idea what's coming next. I'm scared, but I'm not discouraged. I haven't allowed myself to become discouraged. And the way I did that was because I allowed myself to do something that I didn't think I could ever do. And that was surrendering to God, basically throwing my hands up and saying, God, I'm done, but not I'm done with you. I'm done with myself. I'm done thinking that I have the ability to control anything that's going on outside, because in reality, all I have control over is what I do and how that affects the people around me. This was not only freeing for me, but it was almost like this weight lifted off my shoulders. I stopped feeling burdened by all these things. I started feeling like I could be more patient and compassionate with myself. And that allowed me to really start picking up different forms of prayer and maintaining my Lenten fasts. So instead of, dwelling and becoming angry and sad about the things I was losing, I offered that up to God. And I'm not gonna lie, I was sad, I was angry, I was grieving. Like, there were so many things I had planned, and I'm sure there's a lot of things that you all had planned too that you all are missing out on. And if for some reason, like, nobody has told you, I'm going to tell you right now, it's okay to feel these things. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry, and it's okay to grieve. Because yeah, there's a lot of things going out around in the world. People are dying, and people are getting sick, and people, are going through it, but so are you, and your feelings are valid. But instead of dwelling on these things and, trying to ignore the uncomfortability, I encourage you to almost embrace this discomfort, especially in this season. I mean, Easter is around the corner. Good Friday, depending on when this is posted, is either today or tomorrow. I just encourage you to join Christ on his journey to Calvary. Pick up your cross and offer that up to him because he wants that. In my talk, the one I gave in January, I reference this part of the catechism, which is 2562, and it says, "It is the heart that prays, and if our heart is far from God, the words of prayer are in vain." Hearing this, kind of like rereading it and hearing Father Mike's homily, it all makes sense to me now. Losing heart is such a big deal because it is our heart that prays. It is our heart that reaches out to God. And if our hearts are far from God, it's hard for them to reach out. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't feel God in your heart and if you think your heart is far from God, that you should stop praying. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Like I said, embrace that discomfort and reach out to God because right now, he is preparing to die for us on the cross. And I think he could use all of our comfort by offering up our discomfort. I didn't want my time in quarantine to be in vain. So I offered up my sufferings. I offered up my discomfort. But I know that for some people, that's easier said than done. Every saint had a starting point, and you have a couple of days left in this season. We're about to go into Easter. I just want to encourage you to figure out what your starting point is, whether that's 5 minutes, 2 minutes, however much time you can give to Christ today, do it because he wants it. No time is too little. And what I really want you all to understand is that nothing is wasted on God. And nothing is lost on God. I love you guys so much. I'm praying for you, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful rest of your Holy Week. I love you. Bye.